Hey Nishant, how are you doing? It's very happy moment for me. I've been waiting for this conversation since so long, and you also know it. And today, I think we'll be having a very insightful conversation because I know who I'm talking to. All right. So this is the audience who's listening to. This is CA Nishant Puri, everybody. And if you just look him up on YouTube, you'll actually understand why I'm talking so highly regarding this gentleman here. So, hey, how are you doing, Nishant?
Thanks for the intro. You don't deserve that much, but hey, I'm very excited to meet you for two reasons. One, we've been chatting about this for quite a while. The first biggest reason is I am really happy the way you are progressing and the way you are reaching out to help anybody and everybody. And this takes effort, this takes courage, and because it's not very easy to start building this thing and create your own journey, can be very you can face a little bit of setback at times, but I'm very happy that you are so positive about this thing. So I'm very happy to be associated with you right now. So thank
Oh
you
my God.
for taking the onus, for reaching out to people, helping those who are pursuing the course. Of course, that takes a lot of effort. So thanks for that. And second, and most importantly, um, we are kind of in the same boat, which is
Yes.
coming out of the CA thing and trying to figure out the life for ourselves. So it's always good to meet somebody from the same fraternity. So thanks for having me.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. So, Nishant, the whole agenda of the podcast, which we are recording right now, is to basically help CS students who are actually in the journey and maybe sort of alone without much of a guidance. But whenever they turn out to guidance, right, they always find academic guidance, how to study, how to revise, how to complete one group in 10 days or something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
it sounds very clickbaity and attractive at first, but that's the whole point. What I want out of this conversation is to help people on emotional side so I
Mhm.
just want people who are actually doing CA to understand or to understand how to regulate their emotions. And I think you have mentored so many students, helped so many students out. You have been through the journey yourself, and even I have also gone through it. So I think we can have a conversation about it which will help. So can you just tell me how was your academic background? Like, were you really good at academics during school or CA? How was it?
No, I was mediocre at best. Mediocre to maybe good scoring. Yeah, that's the line. I was never in the top three, but I was never in the last five. I was kind
Mhm.
of struggling in the middle, maybe four, five, six. That's the ranking where I would kind of fit in. Um, I I so yeah, it was just one of those things that yes, you have to study. There's no
Right.
alternative around it. There's no way around. But at the same time, I think I was decent enough to understand the concepts. When I studied, of course, I scored marks because at the end of the day, if you look at the entire curriculum of CBSE, and that's a board that I gave, nothing is really rocket science about it. I mean, maths, commerce with maths was my stream in 11th, 12th. I
Okay.
think except for mathematics in class 11, I think everything was doable. And class 11 mathematics, I if I had to like give one CA exam versus class 11 mathematics, I'll probably choose CA final exam one, not all, of course. Over class 11 mathematics was very bad for me. Still don't get the relevance of half of the things I studied in class 11 mathematics. Anyway, but yeah, I was decent enough. I was kind of focused, but I was also participating in a lot of activities other than exams, the studies,
Mhm.
academics. I was very active in extracurriculars, debates, theaters, and sports, all of
Mhm.
them. I would like to. I tried to participate in as much activities I could. Was very active in theatronics. Was very active in interclass sports events and whatnot, annual day celebrations and everything. So I tried to explore a lot of extracurriculars, which did help me even
Oh,
during my college, selections and all of that. Because when I
right,
started
right,
out in
right.
college, I got into Kirodi Mahal due to my theaters. But then, of course, I had to leave
Okay.
Kirodimal because after I I joined the college as part of theaters. I just realized this is not for me, because then you have to be very focused in theaters. I mean, that is your stream per se,
Okay.
although you are still doing whatever you're doing. So I had to change college, go to Keshav Mahavidyalaya, which is opposite my school, and then just literally had to spend an year there before taking transfers out to SOL, because I was doing CM, and I had cleared my IPCC, so I had to start with my articleship. So that's how the
Oh,
college changes happen. First year, then second year, and literally third year, it went in a different direction, and CA was there. So within the first two, I had no aspirations to do CA, absolutely
yes,
none.
yes.
But then, as the events turned out, I was really greedy, and I was probably offered a lot of money to do CA. I continued to do CA, passed exams, which just shows that it's not that tough. Sometimes you just get lucky. I
Right,
passed the and again I think CPT, the entrance exam, and the
right.
mediocre exam, the IPCC, those are not that tough, right, compared to finals. That's my personal
I
opinion.
agree.
But I cleared those, got money, went on the journey of finals. That's how it began. And again, while I'm answering you, I would digress a little bit. So keep tapping me on the shoulder and bring me back, because I tend to talk in all the directions.
Oh
Because
no,
this is
I
not one
love that.
of those. Yeah, this is not one of those conversations where I have a list of questions. Although we discussed about this, but again, this is a very free flowing thing. So yeah, I might talk multiple things at the same time.
Exactly, exactly. The whole point of this conversation too was to have just a free flow conversation with you. And I think you had a bet or something with your grandmother, or I mean
With
somebody
my
from your family.
my granddad, my maternal
Okay.
granddad, my nanu,
Granddad. Okay.
he so he offered money for clear CPT to all the kids. My
Okay.
cousins got the same offer. I got the same offer. I cleared the exam. I got the money. Then he increased the
Oh,
money
okay.
for
Hmm.
IPCC. Okay, so started studying IPCC. Now IPCC was over, and I think initial it was 5,000 if we clear CPT, 11,000 if we clear IPCC, and then probably 51,000 or something if we clear finance. But
Wow.
after IPCC, when he said, "Okay, this is the money if you clear finals," I was excited. By the time finals came, and I was like, "Who cares about your money? I mean, you just lured us into this thing, and I have no option right now to back out." I mean, who cares 51,000? I mean, go spend it on yourself, because now 4 years of my life have been invested in this shenanigan of yours. Have to do it. There's no other way out. So
Yeah, and you
that's how
can't
it.
look back. It's already 4 years done,
Yeah.
and you
If
have to
if you
clear it
started
somehow.
articleship, yeah, you're gone. There's no way out.
Yes.
Either just stop after IPCC and find a way out, or yeah, you're stuck. That's how
Yeah.
CA course is.
I totally agree. I totally agree. So,
But
like
yeah,
during this whole exam season, right? Like, say when your exam leave starts, I totally agree with you when you say CA final is harder than IPCC and CPT. The reason being, I feel when you're preparing for final, you're also dealing with office. So
yeah.
it seems like okay, you have 2.5 years to study for an exam, but you don't discount the fact that you'll be going to office, you'll be working full time somewhere and studying for such a vast course. And at the last, you get 4 months, 5 months of exam leave, depending upon the office which you choose to join. So, how did you regulate your emotions during those 4 month of period? Like, I personally felt that it was too overwhelming on some days. It was too optimistic on other. It was very demotivating on some days. Like, how did you manage to regulate them? What was
Yeah.
your mechanism to regulate it?
No, so there are layers to this particular question, and it's a fantastic question, by the way. So because yeah, while you're struggling with your course, you are struggling with this internal dilemmas, fears, anxiety, and peer pressure. All of these things are
Right,
happening in the background, and
right,
you have to manage these sounds while staying focused on your examinations, which
exactly.
is very challenging. And you very rightly pointed out the reason why CA finals can be tougher than IPCC is because of the difference in the prep time.
Hmm.
I gave June exam of CPT. and then probably started taking coaching in August, September timeframe. I think when the result came out, probably then September would have been my first coaching. And I gave the IPCC in November of next year. So
Right.
I almost got an year to take coachings, finish the coachings, start studying what has been taught, and do all the questions of the world. So when I gave my IPCC, I just cleared very easily. And I was like, oh, IPCC is it is quite easy. No, but I was studying for 1 year along with coachings. So there's a lot of time for these 7, 8 subjects. Coming to finals, I only registered for one coaching. My office used to reimburse, I think, 15 to 20,000 for coachings. They had a set budget, which was very grateful of them. I was very grateful. It's an amazing thing to do, because coachings are really expensive. And even the stipend was quite nice where I worked. I worked with BMR advisors, and I think the stipend used to be like 15,000, 20,000, 25,000. I think every year.
Was it on par with Big Four, I believe?
It was more than Big Four. So BMR advisors was carved out of Arthur Andersen, and it was the best place to work for me. I think whatever I am in my career, a large chunk of that I owe to BMR. Excellent amount of work environment, excellent people, probably the industry gurus, so on and so forth. But it was really good. But the problem was the work was maddening, and I did register for one accounting class under we name the teacher. What's the most famous teacher for accountancy? Forgetting the name again.
Parveen sir?
Parveen Sharma. Yes, exactly. So I registered under him, and it's been good. 7, 8 years now. So I might not remember all the names, but Parveen Sharma. And so I registered under him, but I could not attend classes because I was working on a project for 3 to 4 months. I would get off from my work around 5 a.m. in the morning, go to his class at 6:30 from work, thinking that I'm some sort of Superman. I would go there, I'd study for 3 hours, then go back to office by, let's say, 11. And I used to live in North Delhi. My office was in Gurgaon, so 1 hour of commute by road.
Oh my God.
It was stupid on my part to even think that I could do it. And I went, I think I probably went to 7 or 8 classes, and then I just gave up. I said, this is not possible. So I tried doing these things that I'll go on weekends, whenever I can. But even Saturdays I was working. It was just not possible. So I just gave that. I said, "Karenge fir baad mein." And I had these lovely friends who were really, really intelligent, genius. Even the seniors at BMR, they were all very genius, senior articles. Everybody said, "Ho jayega." And I was like, IPCC to ho hi tha. If I could do IPCC, I'll do CA finals. What's the big deal? So I went, gave CA finals, and I failed. I got 3 months off, gave both the groups without any coaching. And I was like, I'll do it. I took some coachings, which was like video classes. And I studied through those video classes and notes, whatever was available. And nope, I think I probably scored 170 in one group or 185 or something in another group, which was a total failure, which means, you are, in every single exam I failed because nothing was 60 and above. You need an exemption.
Understood.
I was, that took a hit. So when we talk about emotions, the first part or the first layer is giving the exams for the first time.
Right.
The emotions that you need to regulate at the time is excitement, because you are just thinking you're one step away from becoming a CA. So there is this hidden excitement in you. Bas ye ho gaya, then my life is all sorted, right? And sometimes you are thinking, you're studying, in your mind you're thinking, when I'll give the exams, I'll become a CA. You know what? This is what I'm going to buy. This is the place where I'm going to visit, right? Suddenly you are watching a YouTube video and you will see a recommendation of, let's say, I don't know, a song from Tamasha, and they are in,
Corsica.
some other country, Corsica, and you're like, when I'll be CA, I think maybe I'll get 8 lakh or 9 lakhs of package, and this would be my in hand. Okay, let me calculate what's my in hand, and then you start, you throw everything aside. You're calculating your in hand, and now you're thinking, okay, in hand, then this is going to be my expense for this and this. I'll have this much. Yeah, I'll go to
Yes.
Corsica for sure. Right?
Yes.
And this is what you're thinking. Okay, but what if I get like 20% increment if I do really well?
Mm.
And then you're
Mhm.
just thinking on those lines.
Right.
And now your focus is away from studies. So, very important to
Mm.
understand that this is not IPCC, this is not CPD. You have
Correct.
very limited amount of time. Even if you have all the coachings,
Right.
you are going to get 3 months. Last 10 days are going to be reserved for the first subject that you'd be tested on,
Right.
accountancy, I think.
Correct.
So all you are going to get, if you're very lucky, you're going to get 3 months of holidays. If you're very lucky, if you work in a
Mm.
very good firm, which is very receptive and all of that, 3 months. So out of 3 months, 90 days, 10 days goes for the first subject. So you've got 80 days to prepare 8 subjects, which is 10 days per subject.
Mm.
And that's a maddening amount of hard work. Even if you
Right.
have taken coachings, what you need to do is consolidate,
Correct.
because you would have studied something a couple of months back, and we are not, we don't have those chips in our minds right now that we can recall everything so easily. It requires
Mm.
revisions, it requires hard work. So when you're doing it for the first time, make a day wise plan. If
Mm.
your holiday or your leaves are going to start from or Tuesday, you need to know what exactly things you're going to do when you wake up on Monday morning. You cannot plan on Monday about the 80-day journey you're going to be on.
Right.
So I think that's
Right.
very important. So yeah, don't get disturbed by those voices of excitement. That's very important when you're doing it for the first time. Second, don't listen to everybody, right?
Oh.
One of the
Oh my
biggest
God.
problem is
Correct.
you listen to everyone. Everyone
Mm.
wants to give their inputs, and then you get so mixed up.
Correct.
The best way to do this, and again, I'm just speaking from my experience. People may have different opinions on this, and what you know and what you need to work on more. If you are into stat
Mm.
audit, probably your command on accounting and auditing is a little better. When I say command, don't fool yourself for a moment thinking, oh, I do stat audit, accountancy exam is going to be easy. No, it's not going to be, because what you do as a stat auditor and what
Mm.
you are studying in accountancy and the way you are tested in exam, those are different things.
Completely
You
different.
might just be doing an audit of, let's say, construction company. That would not cover half of the things that in accountancy anyway, but
Right.
it would help you in understanding those concepts better, because
Mm.
you're more used to
Right.
listening those terminologies.
Mm.
Similarly, DT, if you are into direct tax and you're reading direct tax, your command would be a little better in understanding the jargons. But don't fool yourself for a moment thinking, I've done direct tax for 2.5 3 years now, it's going to be easy. No, nothing is easy.
Mm.
These are academic subjects tested in an academic fashion, very different from real life. So
Right.
be ready with that. That's very important. Don't let things fool yourself. That
Mm.
I've done this, so it's going. And as was pointing out, people are going to come and share their stories. So I studied for 1 month and actually I said,
Right.
good riddance. God bless you. But don't come and give me that advice that studying for 1 month is going to help me clear the exams.
Mm.
I'm a firm believer. Understand your own capabilities and also be a little more intelligent and smart. That everybody is going to come to you and say, मैंने एक महीने में CA final पढ़ के clear कर लिया.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a true statement?
Right.
Maybe what the person is saying, the person probably was taking coachings at the end,
Right.
focused 1 month and gave.
Mm.
Maybe that's what the person meant. But you took it upon yourself saying, 1 month, I've got 3 months,
Mm.
easy peasy.
Yeah.
Nope. And that's how you fool yourself. And
Right.
coming to the second layer of it, when you've already failed,
Ah.
right?
Right.
When you fail, then the emotions, they are more twisted.
Correct.
Because one, now you have to go to the office and meet the same people you were working with, right? Your seniors,
Right.
who thought you were very good at work, and suddenly you are a
Mm.
failure. Second, you have to still work with your friends who were studying with you until last attempt and now are qualified chartered accountants or group 1 clear or exemptions.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to, that peer pressure would start setting in. The
Mm.
third layer is our parents who are doing so much for us, and we start feeling guilty that, boy, I have let them down. Your friends and
Right.
family, you have let them down. That takes a toll on you. And if you are in a relationship, oh boy, that's another, because God help you if you're in a relationship, the amount of anxiety you start getting into. Oh boy, I have failed.
Mhm.
And if you are in a situation where your partner has cleared the exam and you haven't,
Okay.
I feel sorry for you because you are going to be in so much pressure and trouble and whatnot. But
Mm.
the best way to manage these emotions is, again, telling yourself, what have I realized? What have I gained? Because every failure is one less method of failing.
Right.
What I
Oh,
mean by
right.
that is, every single time I fail, there's two
Mm.
ways to look at it. I'm done. Or, hey, I am more experienced than the one who has already passed. Because the person who
Mm.
has passed only knows what needs to be done. I
Right.
know what not
You.
what should not be done.
Mm.
And
Right.
I just need to find the other way of getting this thing done. So it's about perspective. So I
Mm.
always thought, and after every single exam, I used to do a couple of things. One, come back from exam and never discuss how it went,
Okay.
because it's done.
Right.
What are you going to change now?
Mm.
Absolutely nothing. If I'm coming back from giving my accountancy exam and I'm going to spend time either with your teacher, with your colleague, with your senior, with your parents, telling how that exam went, and a lot of people have this thing, oh, 4 marks ka question, okay, I think I answered this well. Let's say do laga le, आगे बढ़ते हैं.
Mm.
Now you're just wasting your time, because now वो 2 लगा ले, 3 लगा ले, 4 लगा ले might give you a very good score or not a very good score.
Mm.
Both of them are gonna is a distraction. Both of them create separate distractions, because if it's low, and this has actually happened. I think last attempt of home, there's a very nice person who's doing CA finals. And we've been chatting for years now, and he always calls me, and I was trying to help him with the exams.
Mm.
He gave his exam, called me after the exam and said, "Oh, sir, I think it went really, really well, but I think I might not be able to clear this one." I said, "No, no, sorry, break it down for
Oh.
me." He said, "Some of the
Okay.
questions were really well. I answered them well, but overall, I think I'm going to fail." And then he's telling me, "Okay, I've started putting all the marks and everything. I think math I can score is 42, but that's also very generous marking from my
Mm.
side.
Mm.
So I think if I'm giving myself 42, I'm gonna fail this one. So I don't know, should I give next exams?" And I
Oh.
just blasted. I said, "What part of not doing this did you not understand of the last 6 months?
Right.
Because if you are coming to me and I'm spending week over week with you, and I do this with a lot of Swiss students, if they come to me, what I do, I create these weekly things of checking with them how the progress is."
Oh,
I,
great.
I was mad at that time. I'm usually very calm, but I lost it. So I
Mm.
gave him 5-10 minutes of really stuff, and then I just told him, "Don't do this.
Mm.
Focus on what needs to be done." And you will not believe, I think he scored almost 50 something marks in that exam, and he's a chartered accountant now. So it's so important. It's done, dude. Your focus has to be prepare, give the exam, prepare, give the exam, write it down, be done with it. आपको क्या लगता है, आप पे कितने मार्क्स आएंगे? Who gives a shit? You are not the person who is going to evaluate your mark sheet. It's not your job. Move on. I mean, done. Forget it. But at the same time, once you're done with all 8 or 4 exams, at that point of time, pick up each and every examination question, go through it, because it's just been what, 15, 16 days. So it's not like your mind has totally forgotten about it. Now start writing. Okay, if I look at this exam, what are the areas that I need to improve on? And then spend a day or two just to write down those areas. Okay, I think during this exam, when I went into the examination hall, I think these topics, I was a little scared about these topics. Okay. So which means even if you become a CA, These 4 topics are going to haunt you for life. How about spend time now until your results are out on perfecting these topics, right? And that's the approach, because now you know what needs to be improved. Topic wise, question wise, whatever way it works best, write it down or record, because your emotions are fresh. You're going to be able to write it. When you write it as if you are telling yourself, you're advising you the future you. Hey Nishant, by the way, I think you were really scared at the time of giving this exam, and the topics you were most disturbed about were this. So it's a memoir. So when you read it down the line, boy, that's gonna bring back a lot of emotions and memories. That's gonna keep you fresh. So that's my advice when you give your exam, you come out. And when you are in these emotions of peer pressure and whatnot, remember your journey is gonna be different than others, but this is not the end of life. First attempt, second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt, doesn't matter. As long as you are learning from every single failure, you can always cover up in life. Don't think, uska to ho gaya, I'm 2 years behind, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. When you become a chartered accountant and you get a job, all that matters is how good or bad you are at your job. And we'll get to that, how to select the job that's meant for you. But right now, you have failed in an exam does not mean you're a failure. It just means on the day of exam, the questions that were asked were not your, best shot or your most comfortable. Simple. Move on. And the quicker you do that, the better you are. Try to be happy with other people's success. Don't get envy. If your friend has become a chartered accountant and you are not, don't think for a moment that, boy, I need to shut myself off from this person. I need to avoid a party. No, that's your friend right there. You can go and clarify stuff. You can ask questions about, okay, तूने ये वाला पेपर कैसे किया था? Please मुझे बता. Have those meaningful conversations rather than finding ways to escape the room or not participating. I think that side of emotion is again the anxiety part, but then the other side of emotions, which is, your friends, your family, and let's say your partners, just in case you happen to be in a relationship. If the love of your family, your friends, your lover is dependent on your success in an exam, trust me, they're not meant to be. And that's my free flowing advice to anybody. Just your family would never leave you just because you are not able to qualify the CA exam, right? If they come to you and say, yeah, dekh lo, ye karna hai ya kuch aur karna hai, that does not mean they doubt you. That means they love you. They don't want you to suffer. So don't, because a lot of students that come to me, a lot of people they come to me and say, my dad is saying I chhod de, nahi ho payega, to usse beta kuch aur dekh le. And I said, yeah, but it's you who has to convince them, saying, nahi, मैं ये करूंगा या करूंगी, और आप बस थोड़ा सा मेरे साथ जो है, just support me. Obviously they will. It's very, that's how our mind works, that's how our family works. They're all working for us, for our betterment, right? A lot of times, when we wake up in the morning for an exam day, when we're super tired, we get this thought, so jana, maybe 1 ghanta or so ja. That's your mind, which is your best friend, your buddy, telling you, यार मेरे से नहीं देखा जा रहा था कोई हालत में, प्लीज सोच, right? And you need to tell your mind, no, I have to do this, please support me. And I used to have that. I still do these conversations with myself. Like sometimes I'm just working maybe 16, 18 hours and I'm super tired and I have to get up next morning. I know my mind and my body, they really like me, myself. I mean, whatever is inside, they love it. And that's why they always tell me, Nishant, chhod, just sleep. I said, look, not going to happen. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to work and you need to support me, please, guys. Suddenly I have energy and I'm able to do what I want to do. So that's important.
Yeah. So yes, we had to pause for a moment because of some technical glitch. Here we are back. So Nishant, we were talking about how do we manage our emotions basically after, if we are studying it for the first time or we have already failed and we are reappearing for the exams. So can you just tell me what you think about how do we manage our emotions right before the exams, like, the month before the exams? We go through a lot of thoughts. Basically, what I went through was, will I be able to recall everything? Will I be even able to write something? Will I even score marks to clear this exam? Am I working hard enough? Is it okay? Or can I take a break? All these thoughts were running throughout those 1 month, and I trust me, like during my 4 months of exam leave period during my CA finals, I think the last month was the most difficult month for me, where I had to manage with all these emotions running around, and I had to focus on my studies as well. So what advice would you give to people who are struggling with that, like 1 month before the exams? How do you deal with your emotions?
Okay, no, brilliant question. And because this is something called time management and
Mm.
effort management. It's
Oh,
it's a
right.
combo of. Um, I think somewhere in one of the videos where I might have said, I don't recall which one, that you need to study 18 hours, right?
Mm.
And I just want to clarify it because a lot of people, they reach out to me and say, hey, I'm not able to pull 18 hours. How do I do that? 18 hours are only required probably during the days of exam, when your eight
Mm.
final exam days, they kick in, because there's
Right.
so limited time in hand and you have to revise everything. So maybe
Right.
at that time, if you're pulling in 18 or 16 to 18 hours, I understand it. But if you think that you can do 18 hours a day for a month or 2 months at a time,
Mm-hmm.
then you are heading for a disaster.
Right.
And I I can I can fight on this with any YouTuber or teacher who,
Mm.
because I know some of them, they do tell their students to go, and in a very, they think it's motivating
Right.
because that's how they're putting it out there. तुमसे पढ़ाई नहीं होती, 18 घंटे पढ़ो, and all of that, and जमीन पे सो, और उठना उठ जाना चाहिए तुम्हें, खुद 12 बजे सो, 4 बजे उठो, बहुत होती है 4 घंटे की नींद, and all of
Mm.
that, they build it up.
Mm.
And at this stage in life, I think I can go easily and fight with them verbally, of course, debate instead of fight. I can debate on this with anybody,
Mm.
saying, do not preach these things without solid scientific backing, and you will not get
Right.
any backing whatsoever when you start teaching things like that.
Right.
Very important. As I started, it's a time versus time and effort, a battle of managing time and effort.
Right.
When you start your journey, 3 months, let's say, before the examination, remember, understand, you are working in an office environment and now you're
Right.
coming into whole day study environment.
Mm.
If you think that you can do 16 hours now, you're stupid. That's not
Right.
how body works.
Right.
And if your body does,
Great.
man, God bless you, do it.
Mm.
But understand like you have to, I think you used a word during this call, self-aware. You were
Right.
self-aware.
Right.
It's very important to be self-aware. आपको पता होना चाहिए है कि कब मेरी efficiency drop होती है.
Drop होती है. Mm.
And I used to, I mean, there was a wall clock in my room, and I used to monitor my efficiency.
Mm.
Okay, okay, let me do a power session of 1 hour.
Mm.
And my goal is 4 pages. That's it, which means 15 minutes a page. At
Mm.
the end of every page, I'll just look at the clock to see 15 minute में हुआ या 10 minute में हुआ, and that's it. Not to build
Mm.
pressure, but just to be aware.
Right.
And I'll complete those 4 pages. जब
Mm.
आप फर्स्ट टाइम पढ़ रहे हो एंड अगर आप 15 मिनट्स में 1 पेज कवर कर रहे हो, दैट्स ऑसम.
Mm.
बिकॉज नॉर्मली 20 भी लग सकते हैं, तो 1 घंटे में 3 पेज. तो इफ आई एम
Mm.
रीडिंग अ बुक और सिलेबस जिसके अंदर 300 पेजेस हैं, एंड आई एम
Mm.
लेट्स से ओनली डूइंग 3 पेजेस एन आवर, right? So that means I will need 100 hours to complete this book.
Right.
That's fine. But imagine, अब आप अनरियलिस्टिक टारगेट नहीं रख रहे, कि 3 दिन में ये किताब खत्म करनी है, क्या कर लोगे फिर? सो जब आप
हाँ,
ऐसे पढ़ाई शुरू करते हो, एंड आई एम डाइग्रेसिंग अ लिटिल बिट फ्रॉम योर क्वेश्चन, बट आई एम इवेंचुअली गोना जॉइन द
श्योर
डॉट्स।
श्योर।
जब आप शुरुआत करते हो पढ़ाई की, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू बिल्ड अ गुड बेस।
राइट।
सो अंडरस्टैंड, हो सकता है आपको हाफ आवर लगे 1 पेज में, दैट्स फाइन। सो
हम्म।
दैट मीन्स 2 पेजेस इन आवर। अब मुझे अगर 300 करने हैं तो 150 आवर्स, बट आपको वो बेस बनाना पड़ेगा।
राइट।
बेस बनाने का मतलब है, और हम, इट्स सो इजी टू फूल योर सेल्फ। आई थिंक दैट्स द ब्यूटी ऑफ ह्यूमन ब्रेन। आई मीन, अपने आप को बुद्धू नहीं बनाना अगर आपको आता, आप नहीं कर सकते।
हम्म।
इट्स सच a simple thing. Every time you have this self doubt, be
हम्म।
it 3 months before the exam, on the day of exam, जो भी, I still do this thing. I tell myself, एक बात बता, ये पूरा सिलेबस है, बट लेट्स अज्यूम कल का एग्जाम या एक
हम्म।
महीने बाद का एग्जाम या 3 महीने बाद का एग्जाम सिर्फ इस एक चैप्टर से आए, तो क्या तू क्लियर कर लेगा?
हम्म।
एंड सडनली यू थिंक, क्या बात कर रहा है, आर यू श्योर? बस इसी चैप्टर में से पूरा एग्जाम आएगा? हाँ,
हम्म।
मैं कर लूंगा।
वाह।
अच्छा, चैप्टर बड़ा है, सब टॉपिक कर दे। कि लेट्स अज्यूम पूरा एग्जाम एक ही क्वेश्चन होगा, और वो सिर्फ इस अमेलगमेशन के पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट पे हुआ, क्या तू कर लेगा एग्जाम क्लियर? एंड
हम्म।
सडनली आप एक्साइटेड हो जाते हो, क्या बात कर रहे हैं? सो हाउ इजीली यू कैन फूल योर सेल्फ टू गेट द मैक्सिमम आउटपुट। एंड आई, दिस अप्रोच वर्क्स फॉर मी।
राइट।
इफ इट डज नॉट वर्क फॉर यू, फाइंड द अप्रोच दैट वर्क्स फॉर यू।
हम्म।
नाउ हाउ दैट एक्साइट्स मी इज, और ये क्या बात कर रहा है, तो यू सेइंग ऑडिट पूरा का पूरा ये, बट ऐसे 300 एंड ऐसे 315 30 20 दे वर वर्स्ट, बिकॉज बहुत टेक्निकल होते हैं। तो
करेक्ट।
आई यूज टू फूल माई सेल्फ। अच्छा, एक बात सुन, पूरे ऑडिट का एग्जाम सिर्फ 300 के ऊपर है,
हम्म।
कैसा रहेगा? मैं बी लाइक, वाओ, दैट बी ऑसम। सो आई जस्ट हैव टू डू दिस परफेक्ट। अगले 2 घंटे में आई एम गोना रीड दिस ऐसे 300 एंड आई एम गोना किल इट। मैं इसको
राइट।
ऐसे रट लूंगा, ऐसे समझ, बिकॉज अगेन व्हेन आई एम यूजिंग रट लूंगा, दैट डज नॉट मीन कि मैं
हाँ।
समझ नहीं रहा।
राइट राइट
अगर
राइट,
आपको
अंडरस्टैंड।
याद नहीं है तो आप कैसे लिखोगे ना? आप जितना मर्जी समझ लो,
हम्म।
बट अगर याद ही नहीं हुआ तो क्या? लॉट ऑफ पीपल से, नहीं नहीं आप समझो, रटो मत। ऐसे दोनों करना जरूरी है।
राइट।
आप, बिकॉज लेट्स से 2 into 2 is 4।
हम्म।
यार, ये अब आप बोल लो कि हाँ मैंने समझा हुआ है, बट कहीं ना कहीं एक मेमोरी तो है। 1 2 3 4 ही नहीं अगर आता होगा, 11 के बाद 12 आता है, इसके पीछे क्या लॉजिक है?
रट्टा
कोई
हुआ है।
लॉजिक है कि को 12 बोलते हैं, क्यों बोलते हैं? कोई
हम्म।
लॉजिक है? कोई लॉजिक नहीं है। क्या समझ लिया आपने? तो ये कुछ तो रटोगे ना हर चीज में। there's an element of learning and memorizing,
हम्म।
there's an element of technical aspect. So
करेक्ट।
if you are clear with both कि अच्छा what's the objective of this essay,
हम्म।
how this essay needs to be implemented, how is this essay connected with the other thing you are doing in probably series 500 or 700, how this is
हम्म।
coming back to 315 that I'm studying, वो तो
राइट।
बिल्डअप हो, वो टेक्निकल पार्ट है। बट 300 में इसका ऑब्जेक्टिव ये है, ये आप समझोगे तो ठीक है, बट आपको याद तो रखना पड़ेगा ना।
करेक्ट।
तो अगेन, स्पेंड टाइम वेरी जुडिशियसली व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग आउट, बेस बिल्ड कर रहे हो।
हम्म।
एंड आई ऑलवेज टेल पीपल, फॉर थ्योरी सब्जेक्ट्स उसको याद करो। लेट्स से आपने फर्स्ट ऐसे से स्टार्ट करा, यू आर स्टार्टिंग विद ऐसे 300 या 200 सीरीज 1, जो भी आपने पहले ऐसे पढ़ा, आपने उस पर आज टाइम लगाया और आपने ये वाला फॉलो किया कि आई एम गोइंग टू स्पेंड 30 मिनट्स पर पेज, जो भी आपकी बुक है, राइट?
हम्म।
पहला ऐसे वाज लेट्स से 3 पेजेस, so you spend 90 minutes today.
राइट।
When you start your second essay tomorrow, please make sure आप फर्स्ट वाले को रिवाइज कर लो and then
ओके।
start with the second one. You will
हम्म।
feel, if it was 30 minutes earlier, it is only going to be, sorry, let me put it on silent. हाँ जी. So if it was 30 minutes a page yesterday, now it's only going to be maybe 15 to 20 minutes a page for
राइट।
revision.
राइट।
And then the second one would follow at the same pace. When you do it for the third day, you have to revise first one, second one, and the third one. So now what's happening is cumulative revision is happening every single day. Your time spent, because अब पिछले वाले ना इतने इजी हो जाएंगे, बिकॉज पहले मैंने अपने आप को फूल किया कि पूरा एग्जाम इसमें से आ रहा है। सो मैंने
राइट।
बहुत एक्साइटमेंट के साथ इसको याद करा, पूरा एफर्ट भी डाला। सेकेंड डे मैंने अपने आप को फिर फूल किया, ये बोल के, अच्छा अब एक बात बता, ये वाला तेरे को आता है ना जो हमने कल किया था, डन। अगर इसके अंदर मैं सिर्फ एक ये ऐड कर दूं, क्या अभी भी एग्जाम कर लेगा क्लियर या गया?
Hmm.
योर आंसर भी नहीं नहीं नहीं, आई कैन डू दिस. So how you are building these blocks day by day or every session after session is up to you.
Right.
Now remember, if you do all of these essays, let's say you're spending 2 hours or 3 hours a day just for essays, and you continue to do it for 20 days,
Hmm.
then your subject is over because of साथ साथ audit और भी पढ़ रहे हैं. Let's say within 15 to 20 days, your entire audit is done,
Hmm.
right? Or maybe your audit gets done in 10 days and essays take other 3 hours a day, and cumulatively total essay plus this 20 days का आपने ब्रैकेट बना. Now done. अब आपने 20 डेज टच नहीं किया या 1 मंथ टच नहीं किया, एंड
Hmm.
अब आप वापस उसको रिवाइज करने के लिए उठा रहे हो. अगर
Hmm.
आप ये सोच
Understand.
रहे हो कि
Hmm.
नाउ यू वुड रिमेंबर इट द वे यू डिड एट द एंड ऑफ 20th डे, देन यू आर फूलिंग
Hmm.
योरसेल्फ.
Correct.
दैट्स नॉट हाउ ह्यूमन ब्रेन वर्क्स. ये तो फिर ये तो फिर फॉल्स एक्सपेक्टेशन सेट करके अपना मोरल डाउन करने वाली बात है.
Correct.
Best way to do this is, and this is a test you can always do,
Hmm.
pick up any random essay and just say, okay, essay 510 or 505,
Hmm.
क्या था?
Hmm.
अगर कुछ भी याद आ रहा है तो इट मीन्स वो आपके में भी रिटेन है. डोंट
Retained.
वरी अबाउट.
Hmm. Hmm.
कुछ तो आ रहा है ना. नाउ व्हेन यू स्टार्ट रीडिंग इट अगेन फ्रॉम स्क्रैच, रिवाइज करना शुरू करोगे, प्लीज रिमेंबर, ये धीरे धीरे रिकवरी होती है, धीरे धीरे याद आना शुरू होता है, एंड दैट्स फाइन.
Hmm.
तो फर्स्ट रिवीजन में जस्ट गो थ्रू दी कॉन्सेप्ट्स अगेन टू मेक श्योर, अच्छा मुझे कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी है इन चीजों की, एम आई
Hmm.
एबल टू रिकॉल. जो आपने इनिशियली पढ़ते हुए हो सकता है कहीं पे साइड में कुछ नोट डाला है, या हो
Hmm.
सकता है किसी एक पैरा को समराइज किया हो. आर यू एबल टू रिकॉल थोड़ा थोड़ा, मे बी 50 to 60%, दैट्स फाइन.
Okay.
So just do that reading first and
Hmm.
then start memorizing it again, and now you will feel much better. And do the same thing. फिर से बुद्ध बनाओ. अच्छा,
Hmm.
कुछ याद नहीं आ रहा, सब भूल गया, डन. अब मेरे को बता, इस टाइम पे अगर तेरे को सिर्फ एक ऐसे से पूरा एग्जाम आए, कैन यू डू इट? द
Hmm.
आंसर वुड बी हाँ, कर तो एक तो कर लूंगा. आई कांट डू
Yes.
30 एट वन टाइम, बट एक कर लूं. पक्का? चला जा,
Hmm.
लेट्स डू दिस.
Right.
This time it would not take you 90 minutes, maybe 30 minutes max for the entire 3 pages,
Correct.
which means you are matching the same efficiency levels from last time.
Hmm.
Maybe a little, your efficiency is a little low, which is fine, because आप एक सब्जेक्ट को after 3 weeks 4 weeks पिक कर रहे हो यार, कैसे याद होगा?
Correct.
Which is fine.
Correct.
तो when we face this doubt, और ये लास्ट मंथ में बहुत ज्यादा आने लगता है, बिकॉज लास्ट मंथ में क्या होता है, आपने सब कर लिया आपके
Right.
हिसाब से,
Right.
इट्स ऑल डन.
Hmm.
लास्ट 1 month इज मेंट फॉर रिविजन.
Correct.
अब क्या होता है, मैंने आज एफएम कंप्लीट किया या फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट का एसएफएम कंप्लीट किया सब्जेक्ट, और नेक्स्ट डे कॉस्टिंग उठाया. अब
Hmm.
मुझे डर ये लगता है, मैं पढ़ कॉस्टिंग रहा हूँ, मेरे दिमाग में कहीं ना कहीं एक डर लग रहा है, मैं एसएफएम भूल तो नहीं जाऊंगा.
SFM भूल
तो
जाऊंगा. Exactly.
कॉस्टिंग करते करते अगर लेट्स से कोई एक आई डोंट नो, कॉस्टिंग के अंदर कभी कोई सम आ गया जिसके अंदर आपने वैल्यू ऑफ मनी भी देखना है, सडनली
Hmm.
आपका दिमाग एसएफएम पे चला जाएगा, एंड यू विल बी लाइक, एक सेकेंड, उसके उस चैप्टर में एक और चीज भी तो थी, वो क्या थी? शिट, आई कैन रिकॉल इट.
Hmm.
क्या पढ़ा था? शिट,
Yes.
व्हाट डू आई डू? अब पैनिक.
Panic.
अंडरस्टैंड, एग्जाम एक सब्जेक्ट का होगा एट अ टाइम. डोंट वरी, पहले कॉस्टिंग करो, उसके बाद एसएफएम लेंगे. और ये
Hmm.
बहुत होता है, जब आप सारे सब्जेक्ट्स कर लेते हो ना, तो फिर सब्जेक्ट्स की इंटरलिंकेजेस आपको समझ आने लगती है धीरे धीरे,
Correct.
कि ऑडिट का ये कॉन्सेप्ट मेरे अकाउंटेंसी के क्वेश्चन में कैसे थोड़ा सा फिट हो रहा है,
Hmm.
बट उस लिंकेज की वजह से अकाउंटेंसी पढ़ते हुए मेरा दिमाग ऑडिट पे भाग जाएगा, और वो मुझे रिकॉल नहीं होगा. कैसे होगा?
Right.
हो ही नहीं
Okay.
सकता ना. मतलब दिस इज लाइक, आप अपने आप से इतना एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हो जो पॉसिबल नहीं. द
Yes.
बेस्ट वे टू डू इट इज क्यूमुलेटिव रिविजन्स करते रहो. आपने अब करा, पहले कॉस्टिंग कंप्लीट कर लो आज, डन.
Hmm.
उसके बाद अगला सब्जेक्ट, फिर वापस एसएफएम का नंबर आएगा. So
Hmm.
it's one of those things, and I love this thing from Three Idiots movie. This is all is well, all is well.
All is well.
This is what we are doing. It
Right.
is like tricking your mind, because आपका
Hmm.
माइंड सिर्फ आपके लिए काम कर रहा है. Imagine you have this worker who works for you 24/7. नींद में भी सबकॉन्शियस चला के रखता है बॉस. इतना डेडिकेटेड वर्कर है आपका, राइट?
Hmm.
कि आपके लिए 100, लाइक अगेन डार्क ह्यूमर, सॉरी, इवन इन कोमा अनकॉन्शियस चल रहा है यार, वो गिव अप नहीं कर रहा, पूरी बॉडी पड़ गई. That's the
I
amount of
love it. I
dedication.
love it. हाँ.
That's the amount of dedication this brain has for you. और आप इसको ही डिमोरलाइज करी जा रहे हो कि यार तेरे को ये याद नहीं है, ओ यार तेरे को ये याद कैसे होगा. So it's
Right.
like you are killing your most efficient, loyal worker just by putting these unreasonable expectations.
Correct.
तो इसको सपोर्ट करो, इसको बोलो सुन कुछ नहीं है. बिकॉज वो लॉयल वर्कर ना इतना डिसअपॉइंटेड हो जाता है कई बार कि यार शिट, सर को ये वाला चीज चाहिए थी एंड आई कुड नॉट गेट इट फॉर हिम. टेल हिम, अरे यार मिस्टर ब्रेन, दैट्स फाइन, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट, अभी हम कर लेंगे साथ में. बट आप मुझे ये बताओ कि अगर एग्जाम में सिर्फ ये वाला 3 पेज आएंगे, कैन वी डू इट, हम क्लियर कर पाएंगे? एंड सडनली ब्रेन वुड बी वेरी हैप्पी, या यस सर, आई कैन डू इट, आई कैन डू इट, आई एम गोना सपोर्ट यू. दैट्स हाउ यू मेक यूज ऑफ योर बॉडी, ऑफ योर रिसोर्सेज दैट यू हैव गॉट. At least that's how it works for me. Like even now, sometimes I'm reading through these new legislations which are coming out. They have bulky documents.
Right.
So I have to dissect them. Right.
Correct.
I'm reading something very technical, absolutely no clue what it means, but then I have to dissect it.
Correct.
And now I'm in a much better sync with my brain and my body than I used to be maybe 10 years back when I was doing CA. Then now they know it. Yeah, don't worry, this guy is there for us, and I know they're there for me. So it's a very nice chemistry between us that we have built over the years. That हमें पता है कि हाँ मतलब ठीक है, इतना लोड क्या लेना, 5 पेज पढ़ते हैं पहले, let's see where it goes and then we'll see. And suddenly with 5, 10, it goes to 500 and we are done with it.
Right.
So to answer your question, and again I'm trying to join the dots before because I've digressed too much. Always remember, do not set unreasonable expectations.
Okay.
Just because अब आपके 2 हफ्ते रह गए हैं, एक पैनिक मोड होता है, आपके पास भी होता है, घर में भी होता है, एवरीबडी अराउंड यू.
करेक्ट.
तेरे 2 हफ्ते रह गए हैं, सब ठीक चल रहा है, 2 हफ्ते रह गए, 3 हफ्ते रह गए, 1 हफ्ता रह गया, कल से एग्जाम. वो बिल्डअप होता है, वो नर्वसनेस होती है, एंजाइटी भी होती है. बट इफ यू आर एबल टू कंट्रोल दोज इमोशंस, हाउ डू यू डू दैट? सेटिंग रीजनेबल एक्सपेक्टेशन, maintaining your focus by eliminating the distractions and noise. And the distractions and noise can come from anywhere.
Right.
So try to cut your indulgence in social media, your indulgence in conversations with friends. तेरा कितना हुआ, उसका कितना हुआ, अच्छा तुझे याद है? Sometimes you're talking to a friend and you guys are talking about a particular subject or a question and suddenly वो बोलता है अच्छा नहीं वो उसमें भी तो पढ़ा था ऑडिट के अंदर, 505 के अंदर कुछ ऐसा था ना. And suddenly that person would be able to tell you entire thing of that 505 or something. And now you are under so much stress कि उसको तो पूरा का पूरा ये ऐसे रटा हुआ था, मुझे तो याद नहीं आया. Think about it. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि उसने अभी कंप्लीट कराओ. Right. या ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि 505 पे जो उसका एफर्ट है उस टाइम के ऊपर वो जो नर्व लिंक कनेक्ट हुआ उसने जल्दी डेटा खींच लिया. बट दैट डज नॉट मीन आपको नहीं आता.
Correct.
आपको भी आता है. इफ यू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट 505, उसमें अगर 20 चीजें लिखी हैं, मे बी यू विल बी एबल टू रिकॉल 8, विच इज नॉट अ बैड थिंग. नाउ व्हेन यू विल रिवाइज 505, 8 आपको ऑलरेडी आती हैं, 12 आपको पता है, आप रिकॉल नहीं एकदम से कर पाए. जब आप पढ़ोगे आपको धीरे धीरे वो भी याद आ जाएंगे, एंड यू विल बी एबल टू रिमेंबर ऑल 20.
Right.
So when you switch from one subject to other, don't let your mind don't build these expectations from your mind कि वो वाली चीज क्या थी, बता मुझे. बिकॉज ये बहुत होता है, आप पढ़ कुछ रहे हो, आपका दिमाग एकदम से कहीं और जाएगा, और नाउ यू आर ऑन दिस मिशन कि बताओ वो वाली चीज निकालो.
करेक्ट.
दैट्स अ डिस्ट्रैक्शन, उससे दूर रहो. सेकेंड, जब आप एक सब्जेक्ट पढ़ रहे हो, आफ्टर प्रोबेबली वीक, 2 वीक, 3 वीक्स एट अ टाइम, आपको वो सब्जेक्ट जिस लेवल के कॉन्फिडेंस पे आपने छोड़ा था लास्ट टाइम जब वो रिवीजन बंद करी थी, उस लेवल की मेमोरी नहीं होगी रिकॉल, एंड दैट्स फाइन. तो स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग चंक्स. चंक्स बनाने का मतलब है स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग दीज थिंग्स की ओके, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद जस्ट दिस टॉपिक, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद दिस, एंड लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट वन. I always used to make a summary for myself for each and every topic, which means let's say अगर मैं costing पढ़ रहा हूँ और उसके अंदर मैं वो पढ़ रहा हूँ, let's say pricing decision for the, or let's say marginal costing कर रहे हैं, नाउ मार्जिनल कॉस्टिंग की अगर मैं पढ़ रहा हूं तो मैं क्वेश्चंस के बाद कई बार अगर एक बहुत टफ क्वेश्चन है कुछ, आई विल मेक अ समरी।
राइट।
अगर मुझे पता है कि हर बार एक पर्टिकुलर कॉस्ट को संक कॉस्ट की तरह ट्रीट करना है बट मैं उससे मार्जिनल लेके चलता हूं, देन आई विल मेक अ समरी ऑफ इट। Nishant, whenever you read about this expense already being incurred during the M&A activity, you always treat it as a marginal cost. However, this is a sunk cost
Sunk
because
cost.
R&D cost was already incurred. It's not going to come back. That's the logic.
Hmm.
Now, before I even dive into the marginal costing का subject, मैं पहले ये समरी पढ़ूंगा जो मैंने एक एक क्वेश्चन एक एक कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर अपने लिए बनाई है, बिकॉज दिस समरी इज नथिंग बट माय पास्ट सेल्फ
Past
टॉकिंग टू द
mistakes.
फ्यूचर सेल्फ।
Right.
So it's like I'm talking to my own self 15, 20, 30 days, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months back. जो
Hmm.
मेरे experiences थे वो यहाँ आ गए. I'm going to read that, maybe 5 pages, but now I know exactly where I was making mistakes. Now when I dive into those subjects, it's going to be a cakewalk.
Right.
Because अब मुझे पता है क्योंकि यही तो चीजें थी जिनसे मैं डरता था, ये तो चीजें थी जो गलत होती थी, बाकी तो होता ही था, हो ही जाएगा, which is fine.
Correct. Correct.
बट एट द सेम टाइम अगर एक नई चीज आप पकड़ आती है, वाई? बिकॉज जितनी आपको क्लैरिटी आती है,
Hmm.
आप चीजों को नए नजरिए से देखना शुरू करते हो और फिर उसमें आपको नई टेक्निकलिटी समझ आती है। इतने लोग हैं जो ऐसे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ऑडिट के अंदर जब ऐसे पढ़ते हैं फर्स्ट टाइम, सेकंड टाइम, थर्ड टाइम, कभी उतनी क्लैरिटी नहीं आई जितना एग्जाम में जाते टाइम जब रिवीजन कर रहे थे तब आई।
हाँ. Right.
कि यार ओ शिट, ये 520 में ये बात थी, आज तो मेरे को समझ नहीं आई।
Hmm.
अच्छा, अगर शेयर कर सकता हूं मैं रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी तो इसका इम्पैक्ट तो यहाँ पे आएगा। ये तो 205 या 210, आई डोंट नो किस में पढ़ा था हमने, और शिट ये आज तक क्लियर नहीं हुआ।
Hmm.
क्यों हुआ? बिकॉज आपने इतने महीनों तक जो क्यूमुलेटिव रिविजन्स करे, सारे सब्जेक्ट्स एक साथ लेके चले, अब आप इतने कमांड में हो कि आप ये चीजें लिंकेजेस निकाल पा रहे हो। और इससे
Hmm.
कई लोग बहुत डिमोटिवेट हो जाते हैं कि शिट ये तो मुझे पता ही नहीं था, ऐसी पता नहीं कितनी चीजें होंगी जो मुझे नहीं पता था।
Oh.
एंड दैट्स फाइन, बिकॉज
Yeah.
ये तो ग्रोथ है, ये तो एवोल्यूशन ही
Hmm.
आपका होता रहेगा इवन आफ्टर क्वालिफाइंग है। आप कई
Right.
बार किसी फोरम में जाओगे, आईसीआई के सेमिनार में जाओगे या कोई इंडस्ट्री लीडर टॉक में जाओगे, दे विल गिव यू न्यू पर्सपेक्टिव, दैट्स फाइन।
Hmm.
व्हाट यू नीड टू फोकस इज, एम आई एबल टू रिकॉल जितना मैंने अभी तक किया है? दैट्स फन। अगर मैं रिकॉल नहीं कर पा रहा तो क्या ये टोटल ब्लैंक या वाइप आउट है, या ये वो है कि आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकॉल एवरीथिंग एट वंस?
Hmm.
मोस्ट लाइकली इट्स नॉट गोना बी टोटल वाइप आउट, इट्स गोना बी कि मैं सिर्फ 20%, 30% रिकॉल कर रहा हूँ, 50%। फिर वापस लगो, उसको वापस बनाना शुरू करो। तो ये वापस है, जितनी बार आपका हाउस टूट के वापस ब्रेक होगा, टूट के ब्रेक होगा,
Right.
उतना ही स्ट्रॉन्गर बनेगा।
Stronger बनेगा.
एंड अ लॉट ऑफ
Exactly.
पीपल माइट नॉट एग्री, बट इट इज जस्ट, आई मीन आई डोंट एग्री एज वेल, बट हाँ, मतलब जस्ट टू ड्रॉ कंपैरिजन, अगर आपने कभी जिम गए हो, वहां पे एक्सरसाइज करी हो, वहां पे बोलते हैं मसल
Hmm.
ब्रेक करो तो स्ट्रांग बढ़ती है, ब्रेक करो स्ट्रांग
Right.
बढ़ती है।
Right.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है सेम थिंग हैपेंस विद योर मेमोरी।
Hmm.
You recall something, it comes back, and it comes back stronger than it did last time because now you probably have a better understanding. Like even now, if I go back and start reading any essay to
Hmm.
this date or any law, I think I would be able to interpret it much better than I did at the time of studying.
Right.
Because इतने
Right.
experiences आ गए life के, हमने
Correct.
नई चीजों को समझना सीखा and all of that. So
Hmm.
that's a natural progression. Don't get lost. So yeah,
Wow.
I used to
Hmm.
face the same dilemma all the time. I was very clear. I'm not going to get distressed by anything which is demoralizing me. I'm not going to
Hmm.
set unrealistic expectations from my brain, which is working for me all the time. And I'm going to fool my brain a little bit because वो hyper हो जाता है. मेरा ब्रेन
Correct.
हाइपर हो जाता है कि मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा, शिट शिट शिट, सब स्क्रू अप हो जाएगा। सो आई जस्ट टेल हिम, अच्छा अच्छा कुछ नहीं होता, एक चैप्टर करते हैं, एक टॉपिक करते हैं,
Right.
एंड देन यू
Right.
बिल्ड इट
Right.
अप।
Right. Right.
एटलीस्ट
Right.
दैट्स हाउ इट यूज्ड टू वर्क फॉर मी
Yeah.
on the academic side of it, how to
Hmm.
remember or recall everything. But when it
Hmm.
comes to emotional side of it, this is again some your emotions get triggered by an event. They cannot just
Correct.
get triggered on their own. तो ये जो
Hmm.
डिस्ट्रैक्ट, ये जो इवेंट्स होते हैं कि मेरे ब्रेन को कुछ याद नहीं आया, अब अगर आपने इसको लेवल 1 पे स्टॉप नहीं किया, ये इमोशंस ट्रिगर करना शुरू करेगा, तेरे को अभी भी
Hmm.
याद नहीं है, फिर तू फेल हो जाएगा, देख वो भी आगे बढ़ जाएगा, फिर मेरे को
Hmm.
नेक्स्ट अटेम्प्ट देना पड़ेगा, और मम्मी पापा का क्या है, ओ शिट, मेरा बॉयफ्रेंड या गर्लफ्रेंड मेरे को छोड़ के चला जाएगा, ओ माय गॉड, मैं तो यही रह जाऊंगा, 2 साल पीछे निकल गया, अब मैं कैसे मुंह दिखाऊंगा, ओ शिट, all of those things will start settling in. Why? Because you let that event trigger you. So
Right.
identify the events for you and
Mm.
devise mechanisms to stop the emotional triggers to you know happen, or something on those lines. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but हर किसी के जो triggers हैं वो different हैं.
Right.
Identify
Exactly.
what are the causes and start working on those.
Yeah.
It cannot be a blanket answer for everybody,
Correct.
because these
Correct.
things would vary for everyone.
Exactly. Even during my exam prep days, I totally agree with whatever you have said so far, because I made a register for every subject which only had mistakes.
Yeah,
For 15th sum, you read it. I used to write it like that. You read it as this, but it is not correct, because when you refer to the solution, this is the right solution. So I used to first write what I thought first, and then come to what the exact answer is. I think you have mentioned about it in one of your videos already, so I picked it up from there, and it has helped me. And coming about how do we manage our emotions, even I completely agree that you need to be self aware about your triggers, because that's how you will be able to regulate them. I was aware that if somebody talks about how good they are at a particular subject, it would trigger me, and my brain would start again
yeah,
going in that direction ki tujhe kuch nahi aata sort of stuff. So let's cut contact with friends for a while. Let me inform them first कि I'll not be in touch with you for 4 months. Do not disturb. If there's anything very urgent, you can call my mom or dad. Here's their number. So I made it very sure that I know what my triggers are, and even if they trigger it, how do I cope up with it? How do I somehow come back to the game? And I think people or students, what I've seen is they don't actually understand this. They only feel it is totally about just reading, recalling, and reproducing that in the exam, but they totally neglect the emotional side of, okay, 1 month before the exam, how it would be or something like that. They totally neglect that, and once they face it, it is a completely new situation for them, and most of them panic. बट इन माई केस एटलीस्ट आई वॉज अवेयर दैट लास्ट एक महीने में पढ़ाई तो बहुत होगी नहीं, इट विल बी टू मच प्रेशर. So make sure that you finish at least like 2 revisions before that 1 month, and then last month would be more about managing your emotions, but less about reading new stuff. Just revise and make sure that you stay connected with all the subjects. And that's how I did it. I used to also have some techniques called spaced repetition करके एक technique है. I picked it up from a YouTuber called Ali Abdal, where you just you read chapter 1 on Monday, then you try recalling that after on Friday. So something like that. It'll just take 10 or 15 minutes in case you're doing audit or something like that, right? So that's how I did. And that worked for me. And I think, I mean, again, it is not something which we both can say कि यार ये करोगे तो पक्का result आएगा ही आएगा.
yeah.
Again, it depends upon how people take it up and what are their triggers, how they manage stuff, etc. I also wanted to know about did you have any emotional support systems during your exam prep? And if yes, how did you build them up? This is question which could help students who are writing in November 23, because I think May 23 is just 10 days later, and I don't know how helpful that would be. But people who will be going on their exam leaves in, say, June, July,
Yeah.
how do they build an emotional support or emotional system around them, which can keep them motivated throughout those 4 months? Like, what was your, how did you manage basically?
Yeah. So that's a brilliant question, because a lot of us, we probably are not even aware that we have a fantastic support system around us.
Right.
And yeah, you need to have some sort of pillar or some sort of support, where you want to sometimes fall back on and maybe relax and see things and have that time. So I think most of us, our families are our biggest support system.
Mhm.
It's very important to utilize their support, because sometimes we just shut that support off,
Right.
thinking, no, आपको नहीं पता अभी कैसे exam है. No,
Right.
they don't need to know the nitty-gritties of what you are studying. So start having those conversations with your family members. Telling them, अच्छा मेरे को ये करना है. Like, you won't believe, my mom, she is not a chartered accountant, of course. She was a homemaker for a long time. She's still a homemaker, sorry. But she probably recalled more stuff than I did about my studies, because I used to have those conversations with her, maybe over a cup of tea, saying, मेरे को ना भी 330, 315 और ये वाला करना है, ये वाले बहुत टफ है. Then my mom, नहीं कुछ नहीं होता, कर लेगा, ऐसे नहीं है, उसमें क्या है, 350 में क्या है, 320 में क्या है, and I'll be discussing it with her. And she's not an auditor. She has no clue what that means. But a day later when we'd be talking, she'd be like, "वो 330 में जो तू कह रहा था ये वाला वो हो गया?"
Wow.
And sometimes, yeah, हो गया, mom. She's like, देखा, मैंने बोला था मुझे ऐसे ही घबरा. That's the encouragement.
Right.
Now, the second thing, which is again something both of us did, was make that register. When I would make that register, sometimes what I would feel is शायद मैं बहुत सारी गलतियां आ गई. Maybe I'm doing derivatives. So उसमें every single sum when I'm doing it for the first time गलत ही हो रहा है, या forex का conversion है.
Correct.
So sometimes writing these encouragement words in that mistakes register itself, saying, bro, don't worry, this is a very tricky thing. And just because you're making mistake right now does not mean you are conceptually weak. ये ना questions ही थोड़े खराब हैं. So I'll just put 1 or 2 lines in there. तो जब भी मैं लास्ट में पढ़ूंगा, वो वर्ड्स ऑफ एनकरेजमेंट आएगा, मेरी हंसी निकल जा रही थी. Imagine what I was doing 3 months for this day, right? That used to be something I started doing as I was studying. And third, and again, this is very personal, and I'm not trying to be religious or anything. I started studying Bhagavad Gita at probably in class 11th or so, and then continued, probably left it, and then probably when I was 24, 25, that's when I picked it. So probably my life had been very different before that period and after that period. I think post 25 it changed drastically. I think I evolved as a person. So it worked for me, because I still feel that and still to date I have a copy of Bhagavad Gita with me, which I sometimes visit whenever I have in doubt or something. It's a beautiful written book on discipline.
Right.
A lot of people might disagree. It's religious. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't see it as a religious book. I see it more as a book of self-discipline. Such beautiful things are said there. Sometimes when we are working for a very high goal or purpose in life, you need self-assurances. And that book gave me self-assurance. That gave me comfort. Right? I mean, I would read a shloka in the morning, and somehow I would be like, wow, I could connect with it the entire day. Something very silly or because that's how the book has been written. It's written for a guy, and at least that's my understanding of Bhagavad Gita. It's written for a person who is in a battlefield and is confused about what needs to be done because of plethora of reasons. Right. Is this the right path? Am I even supposed to do it? If I'm doing it, I'm having self-doubt. I'm also having doubt whether my objective is correct. I have doubt whether I'm even capable of doing this thing. I have doubt that this might inflict harm on my family. So there's all these doubts combined into one single space, and then there is guidance on how to fight those doubts. Right? Some of those doubts are comparable to the doubts we have while we're studying for such a mammoth examination. So it helped me. I would read it, and every time I had a doubt, I'd just go and read a sloka or two, and I'd be like, wow, okay, thank you very much. And that gave me a lot of assurance, thinking that what I am feeling is not new. Wow. If this book was probably written thousands of years back, then it's just a matter of, hey, you're just one of many who felt something like this. Because imagine this book has, I'm assuming this book has no historian, but I'm assuming this has been around at least for 100 years, if not thousands. And if so, every person who was reading it was probably feeling the same set of emotions that I am, and were able to do something. So it's not like my problem was unique. या
Correct.
इसका सॉल्यूशन बहुत यूनिक है. इट्स
Correct.
जस्ट दैट कि सबकी जर्नी में आता है, सबके जर्नी ऑफ लाइफ का पार्ट है. तो
Hmm.
ठीक है ना, आप भी कर लो. एंड दैट्स हाउ आई ऑलवेज टेल माई सेल्फ कि यार व्हाट यू आर डूइंग इज नॉट, ओह माय गॉड किसी ने नहीं किया, बहुत लोगों ने किया है.
Hmm.
जस्ट नीड टू फाइंड द राइट, वो रेडियो के अंदर, राइट, आई डोंट रिकॉल, पुराने जब एफएम आते थे, आई थिंक शायद अभी भी,
जी.
उसके अंदर आपको एक डायल होता था. यू हैड
Right.
टू
Right.
जस्ट सेट इट अप फॉर द
You need
राइट.
to
और
write
कई बार क्या होता था,
frequency.
आप थोड़ा सा सिटी के बाहर हो तो हल्का सा ऊपर नीचे करके वो हो जाता था सेट.
हाँ.
So it's
Right.
about finding the right tuning for yourself,
Hmm.
and that's it. So मेरे लिए मेरी फैमिली बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता था. देन आई वाज सेल्फ अवेयर, मुझे पता कि यार इतना पढ़ने के बाद कि ये
Hmm.
क्वेश्चन गलत, मेरे मेरे में सेल्फ डाउट आएगा, तो मैं पहले से उसके अंदर कुछ इंकरेजिंग वर्ड्स डाल देता था. एंड
Hmm.
द थर्ड वाज, आई वाज फॉर्चुनेट इनफ that I had this support system in this beautiful written commentary, a Bhagavad Gita, which I would read.
Wow.
I think
Hmm.
also shared a couple of videos online at once,
Right. Right. Right.
just telling people, hey, this is the source of information. If you want to grab it, your pick. I'm not promoting it. I'm not promoting you to be spiritual. No, none of that's fine. There's a thing out there. If you want to take advantage, if it works for you, sure. If it
Yes.
doesn't, how does it matter? I'm not a preacher by any chance.
Correct. I think we'll be linking those episodes in the description if it is okay with you. I mean, can I go ahead and link those episodes?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, anybody, and I think
Yeah.
I've already, in those videos, I've already stated which is the book I'm reading.
Right. Right.
Go
So,
find it. It's available online.
right.
Yeah.
So, any final words for, I mean, those dose of motivation? Like we have, like, I mean, we are pressed for time right now. We just have like 2-3 minutes left for this meeting to end. Do you like any last few words of motivation for people who are writing their exams in May, like next month?
Yeah. So just remember this thing. If you don't enjoy what you are doing,
Hmm.
what's the purpose of doing it?
Wow.
In essence, whatever you are doing it for those 3 hours in the examination room.
Right.
So give your best with the time that you have in hand. It's very important. You might not be able to cover everything, which is fine, but let's make sure we don't have the regret that I did not utilize the time I had. If the time you have can be utilized to cover 80% of the course, then let's cover 80% of the course rather than thinking, shit, मेरा पूरा नहीं हो पाएगा, shit, मेरा ये रह जाएगा, oh boy, मेरा ये. Let's not have regrets कि मैं available time को पूरी तरह utilize नहीं कर पाया. Let's not have that regret. And when you are in the examination room, first thought when you enter the examination room, be proud of yourself.
Right.
You have spent time and effort to be in this place, to be in this space. आप सीए फाइनल का एग्जाम लिखने के लिए एग्जामिनेशन रूम में आ गए हो. Just be proud of yourself. Give your brain a shout out, a clap. And now, with all your energy and focus, just write down this exam and be done with it. I think that's that. अभी जो टाइम है वो ज्यादा नहीं हो सकता, बट कम हो सकता है अगर आपने अपना फोकस डिस्ट्रैक्शंस में डाल दिया. सो उसको कम मत करो. जितना है जस्ट यूटिलाइज दैट एंड गो विद इट. आई मीन, बेस्ट ऑफ लक टू एनीबॉडी. एंड दिस इज नॉट, again, this is not end of life. This is just your evolution, your path. So enjoy this journey rather than being depressed by it. No, just enjoy this phase. This is going to be so much important to you in the years to come. This is going to build you. So have a life. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Nishant, for this conversation. I had real fun. I think many of our viewers would also agree to it. So thank you so much. We should be doing another episode regarding this. I mean, how do we regulate more, and just few deeper conversations to have around Bhagavad Gita as well. I mean, let's see if we can catch up again just to record another episode. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this episode. I hope, Nishant, you had fun recording this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.